Hey, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So this video is about moving through the steps in my overall process and philosophy that I took to move through the steps. And I'm taking just kind of the first 3 steps as an example. And I feel like you should lump the first 3 steps together and not necessarily pay attention to order. And here's what I think is best to do. Focus first on the physical training, second on the soul training, and then leave the spirit training for maybe I'll get to that. And I say that because this is a way to build the foundation from the ground up, because the spirit is the highest level. And basically, Bardon warns about a one-sided development just in spirit that some Eastern teachings take, where the lower levels are just regarded as Maya, as illusion, and you go straight to spirit, straight to the absolute and the all in all. And that has dangers. That's how people go crazy with meditation retreats and mysticism, when they don't have a good foundation under them. So the way to get a good foundation is focusing on the physical and the soul first. And before even getting to that before even getting to that, I would focus on fire and water and the balance of those two. And yes, it does come down to the astral mirror. And in fact, the astral mirror may require outside help. It may require a psychologist. It may require some trauma therapy. It may require processing things in your life that have happened on a psychological level, because this is the psyche. So the astral mirror may be a process that needs backup help and backup time. I think what happens is many people feel like they have to stick to a strict order, because Bardon does advise that, but he's just looking out for safety. And so what I'm saying is looking out for safety too. And so I think some people get stuck on the spirit training and the mastery of thoughts and the vacancy of mind, and they just stay there for years and never get through Bardon and just think Bardon's undoable. So start with the astral mirror, start with the physical training, with breathing, with the magic of water, with the conscious intake of nourishment, with all of those things. Because moving through the steps, and this is key to remember, the steps are not a straight line from 1 to 10. They're actually more like a triangle, where the focus narrows, a triangle, and going through the steps is the middle line ascending, the height, basically. And so step 1 is the broad base of all the steps, and 2 and 3 have kind of a broad base, a bit less broad, and then the focus narrows as you go on. So get a good foundation under you. And that's my recommendation. This is what I did, and this is what worked for me. And start with the balance of fire and water. And like I said in the video I have on the elements, I'm a right-handed person, so fire is on the right side, water is on the left. Fire is associated with light, water with darkness. And get that balanced, because that is key. And so, when you get to basically the level of this is just an example to show how it's easy to misread Bardon and to basically get tripped up and think something is something else. But one example is like putting yourself into objects. First you visualize these objects you have, and then you basically place yourself inside the object and become the object. Now, that could sound like, You have to leave your physical body and go to the object, which I think can be done. You know, you can have your soul and you know, your soul body and get outside your physical body and get into an object. You could do it that way. But it's like being in one place and then going to another place, being in yourself and going to the object. That implies separateness. All is one. Everything's connected. So something like that doesn't even necessarily have to require, you know, going from point A to B. It can just be point A merges with point B and there's no movement. You can just merge with the object. Basically just merge with the object. Empathize with the object. Feel as if you are the object, and that basically can be a way to do it where you're not like jumping outside of yourself and going into the object and then trying to get back to yourself and feel like you're going crazy. You know, you can just basically stay where you are and merge with the object and become the object, and without necessarily any movement, because all is connected. So you're already connected to this object. You're already one with it, you know, so just follow that thread through empathy and keep your fire, keep your willpower, your strength, you know. And, you know, yes, there are stories of black magicians becoming werewolves. I think Bardon does allude to that, but I'm certainly not interested in becoming a werewolf. Maybe some of you are harboring, you know, selfish desires to do stuff like that, but that's certainly not what I'm about. So that's just an example of how one thing can seem one way, but it can be something that's actually a lot more doable than the way it sounds. Because Bardon's book is written very densely. Every sentence could be a whole book written about it. I could have a whole book written about it itself. You know, that's how dense initiation into Hermetics is. So focus on the fire and water balance, focus on the physical and soul training. Lump the first 3 steps together. Pay no attention to order. Just get the physical and the soul training done. Get that good foundation. Get a good foundation with the Astral Mirror. Learn how to use the breath. Begin breathing and learning all that can be done with breathing. Begin, you know, loading water with wishes, or washing off in the shower and washing off your negative characteristics, using it that way. I mean, I get to the point, I'm at the point, for example, like last night I impregnated a glass of water with a wish, and the water felt so loaded and so heavy. It was just like not a normal glass of water. It was just completely, you know, this almost milkshake, you know, because it was impregnated. So, you know, it's like not something I do all the time, because it can get a little bit too heavy at times, you know, a little bit overdone. So, yeah, and Bardon does say don't overdo anything, never overdo anything. And so this is just my general philosophy going through the first 3 steps. What I'm going to do is go through the steps and the parts of the steps individually from here on out. 1, then 2, then 3. And there may be so much in 1, 2, and 3 that it's step 1, part A, step 1, part B. It's broken down. But that's my plan, to just go through the steps and the videos and in the podcast. If you haven't checked it out, there's the Franz Bardon Podcast, available on all major platforms and should be easy to find. And again, I am an executive coach for Bardon practitioners. If you're interested, you can email me at thegraveyardcowboy@gmail.com. And I hope all of y'all are having a wonderful day or night, wherever you are, and many blessings to you all.